Welcome to
Crazy, right?
A podcast
Be your own person.
for those affected by
Crazy, right?
mental health.
I wanted to just try it.
Crazy,
It's something that I've struggled with for a while.
Featuring live improvised music
Now I finally got my head around again.
by your host,
am I right? Crazy,
It feels good to talk about it.
right? Crazy, right?
Dave Asher.
My guest today is Bailey. Bailey is a 27-year-old paraprofessional who has dealt with significant mental health issues since childhood. She is an advocate for other people, particularly those affected by mental health. Bailey, thanks for joining me today here in my studio. I'm going to step over here to my piano. This could go anywhere. Just to feel this moment together, I'm going to throw down something musical, and then you throw back anything at all.
Cool.
Are you open with your friends about your situation with mental health?
Yeah, so that's something that I've tried to be more open about in the last year. When I was in first grade, I was diagnosed with clinical depression, and that stuck with me my whole life. And I've always struggled with anxiety, but in the last 2 years, maybe 3, I've developed a panic disorder, which has been really overwhelming. And then I have ADHD. But I kept it kind of like on the DL for a really long time because it felt embarrassing, or like I didn't want people to think differently of me or feel sorry for me.
Do you feel sorry for other people who have mental health issues?
No. And that's what's, I think, been the biggest eye-opener for me in the last couple of years about talking about it, is like, I sat and I had a heart-to-heart with myself. And I was like, dude, like, you're such an advocate for people who are struggling in whatever way that may be, like mental health or a bad situation or whatever it might be. Like, I'm still working on it, but I need to be kind to myself and with my own struggles that I deal with. And I think that like the biggest thing that I found to really help with that has been to talk and to be open about it. And, you know, some of my friends who I've opened up to about it, you know, it's been really cool because not everybody, but I've gotten a handful of people who are like, oh my gosh, me too. And that's opened up such a cool dialogue and you know, made it okay to talk about something that's still very taboo in America, which is like so stupid, because it's like, how can you help people when they're not even comfortable talking about what they need help with?
What do you think is the biggest thing in your life that you need help with?
I've been really hesitant to try medication. I'd been on medication for my ADHD starting in 5th grade until I was about 16. And I got into this really almost like a superiority complex I think I had about it, where I was like, I don't need that. I can do it by myself. And I did learn some really helpful coping mechanisms. I'll get into like a hyper focus. Like when I feel my brain, the best way to describe it to somebody without ADHD, and I've got it pretty severe, it's like off the charts. But I explain it like, imagine you're surrounded by like 25 preschoolers all trying to get your attention at the same time and screaming. And you're trying to have a conversation with another adult while 40 little kids are pulling at your clothes and yelling at you, and you have to use your hands to block their faces and maintain a structured conversation and listen to what other people are saying and not lose track of what you're trying to communicate. It feels like, I don't know exactly what I do, but it feels like that. it feels like I'm almost always, when I'm speaking, like I'm holding a 5-year-old's face and blocking their mouth so that I can even think.
That voice that you have to stifle, that child's 5-year-old voice, what is that child saying? What does that child sound like?
Oh my gosh, okay. Hey, Bailey! Hey, Bailey! Hey! Did you hear? Did you hear about that? Wait, what? Did you see that fly over? Wait, what's that over there? Oh my gosh, this song is my favorite! Wait, focus! Bailey! What? So like that, something like that.
And you've been depressed as well? At
Oh
times?
man, yeah, that's like a persistent. I don't think I'm ever not depressed. It's just like varying degrees of it. I'm always better when I'm with people, and like I think it's easy because I can anyway. I take on the energy of like a room that I'm in, right? So like if there's a bunch of people being busy or productive or not being productive but having fun or whatever it might be, I'm gonna be able to feel that energy and that becomes my focus, you know, and that preschooler inside my brain loves it because there's so much stimulation. But it's like the moment I leave and I step outside, I mean, it doesn't even need to be home, like just the moment I'm by myself, it's like the weight of the world is suddenly like clouded every thought I have. I'm almost always listening to my headphones because it's a distraction. And I might not even be sad about something. Like I think that's such a big discernment, is like the difference between being sad and having depression, right? Being sad, I mean, everybody gets sad, right? It's just like every other emotion, like, oh, I'm happy, or oh, I'm really sad. You know, maybe somebody hurt your feelings and it bumped your ego and made you feel bad about yourself or something for a moment. But depression, it feels like, doesn't necessarily need to be associated with a moment. It's just, at least in the way that I experience it, it's numbing. And to me, it just feels like my whole consciousness is in like a gray cloud. And, you know, if I'm home, it's very hard for me to leave. Almost like agoraphobic or something. I mean, it's not that bad, but sometimes it feels like it. And, you know, even just getting out of my bed in the morning, sometimes, most mornings, I'll have to be like, give myself a pep talk. Okay, Bailey, get up. Get up. Get up. And sometimes that's even too big of a goal. And I'll just be like, you just need to sit. Okay, put your feet off the bed. And it feels like every moment is a struggle until I finally am able to get into the role of the day. And sometimes I never get into the role of the day. And I think that, for me, is the most disheartening. And when I reflect on my brain and my life, I think what bums me out the most is, and I'm trying, again, this goes back to being kind to myself and trying to be kinder to me, is like, but I get to this point where I'm like, I find myself maybe envying people who are more mentally healthy and wishing that I could just be normal, you know, like whatever that means, and not have to like deal with stupid shit.
Do you think that if you had the choice, do you think if you could wave a wand and get rid of all that, you would?
No. Like, when I sit back with myself, I wouldn't. I think my experiences in my life have given me a really unique perspective. I like how my mind works when it's working. I like when I feel that surge of creativity or that moment of understanding with somebody else who might be struggling with something that I had when I was a kid or that I do now, and be able to connect with people on like a different kind of level. And I feel like what I value most in life is connections. And like this kid I'm working with this week, he's got all kinds of stuff going on, and it's really cool because in 4 freaking days of working with him, I know he knows that I respect and value him as a human. I get his ADHD and his weird little like sounds that he makes, and you know, I'll give him a wink to let him know that I get it, but it's time to chill out, and he'll respond to that. And it's really cool because I was able to meet him on his level because I understand where he's at.
What's something that you're looking forward to right now?
It sounds silly. I'm looking forward to tomorrow.
Just the concept of tomorrow, or specifically tomorrow?
Specifically tomorrow. This kid, the job position is called SECA, S-E-C-A, Special Ed Classroom Assistant. I had to get my paraprofessional license and whatever. But this kid has his first year in the school, and all his teachers hate him. I mean, they hate him. And it's like, I get it though. I get it. His main teacher doesn't hate him, but everyone's at the end of their rope. And
you're uniquely qualified to...
Yeah, man! I'm so excited to hang out with him tomorrow! And, see what we can accomplish. He's got these, they're for his social worker, and they're anytime he is totally disobedient or whatever, I have to say where he was in his specials or his classroom or whatever it is. And did he verbally say something? Did he break stuff? Was it self-injury? All of these, this really intense form. And typically he goes through 6 of them throughout the day.
Wow.
He's a lot. Everybody who runs into me in school, I'll be like, "Hi, Miss Bailey." And they'll be like, "Hi, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm a new Sika. I'm working with, I'm not going to say the kid's name, but I'm working with this kid." And I say his name, and they go, "4th grader?" And I say, "Yes." And they just go, "Good luck." I'm like, okay. People just keep saying, "You're doing God's work." I'm getting the craziest responses. But it's so funny because it doesn't feel like a chore to me. I dig this kid. I like this kid. But what I'm most excited about with that is he doesn't have many friends, right? His peers are hesitant. But the kids really like me in his class. And I think if they see him and I being friends, I think they're going to start warming up to him. And that makes me really happy. And I'm just excited to see what we can find and accomplish and work toward in this next 6 weeks.
That's great.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming by, Bailey.
I'm glad. This was really cool.
Thank you again to my guest, Bailey. You may contact her via email at baileythoughts@gmail.com. That's BAILEY thoughts@gmail.com. Thanks again for joining me. All the best, Bailey. That wraps up this episode of Crazy Right with Dave Asher. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider writing a review or rating this podcast. And of course, we would love it if you subscribe. I'm Dave Asher, and I'm glad to be here.